Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Long time no see. I wanted to start this year off strong. We're going to start this video off with a biblical review. But before we even get into that, we need to talk about what a religion even is. Let's dissect what we're about to research. What is a religion?
It's a tool.
So a religion is a system of beliefs, practices, or values that people use to understand big questions about life, purpose, morality, and the universe. It usually includes beliefs about a god or a spirit or a higher power, traditions or rituals, and a community of people that practice all of the above, or some or not all of the above.
Wow.
So they normally answer questions like, why are we here? What happens after we die? What is right and wrong? And how should we treat each other? These fundamental questions are apparently very hard for humans to figure out. A religion is made or developed by a group of people who believe a certain thing is true. Then they go and say it, preach it to other people so they too can have the same belief. Some good stuff. So there are two types. There is a monotheistic religion where there is a culture around one central god, which is what Christianity is. And then there's the other type, which is polytheistic. This type of religion is where you're praying to multiple gods. You're going to be thinking about like Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology. You're going to be thinking of Chinese cultures. You're going to be thinking about, all those cultures that are really rare nowadays and hard to find. Those ones that are extinct are the polytheistic ones. And that's why the impact of the Roman culture is so big. And we'll talk about that later in this video. So, we understand what a religion is. Alright, that's great. We just need to know then how many religions there are in the world today and how many there were like a couple years ago. Let's look at it. How many religions were there 4,000 years ago? And the reason I'm doing that is because Common Era is, 2025 years old. So, I need to understand before the one God thing, what did it look like before that? I'd like to just really get a good grasp of what that would look like. The history of religion is crazy vast, and it's, I don't know, from what we know, 10,000 years old plus. But I assure you, it probably like in the 200,000 year range. There's cultures that we dig up all the time. We have no idea what their religions were. We have no idea how their systems were formatted, how they worked the farm, how they had a family unit. We have no idea. But we do know that these systems existed. We dig them up all the time. And it looks like to me, about 4,000 years ago, there isn't a simple count for how many religions there are. But most religions were local. So you had a whole bunch of different groups of people practicing religions, and then it would diversify on the outskirts and be blending with other cultures to fill in any void or anything they don't understand. Like if Clan A had an excuse to what happens when you die and Clan B didn't, Clan B would adopt those teachings. Or they wouldn't. They'd make up their own thing. Either way, you had a way of systemizing and predicting and even growing your own religion. So that's what they were doing. A whole bunch of different cultures about 4,000 years ago. had tons of different religions. It was different every 100 miles you probably went. Different. Probably even smaller than that. So we're really talking about ancient Mesopotamia, which is that like Israel, Middle East region, right before you get to India, right before you get to Egypt, that whole area. I think Egypt is included in that. So we're looking at a whole bunch of different religions existing, um, doing their thing, and you really see an interesting spike. One single religion growing around those times, and that would be the Jewish faith. Um, so the Jewish faith, which I will review later, it emerges as a series of teachings, but I think there's three main books that they look at, but the main one is the Torah. So you have a faith migrating over and planting itself. We have a polytheistic religion smorgasbord going on in Mesopotamia until supposedly the Jewish settlers find themselves in a land that's not their own. And from that faith comes Christianity during the Roman Empire, taking supposedly some guy named Jesus under their wing to show to their society that they are not polytheistic, they are now all Christians. And in fact, if you're not Christian at this time, the Roman authority would put you on a cross and unalive you. The Roman capital taking ownership of a worshiper of that Jewish faith, being Jesus, and they made a spectacle out of this guy. Now, you can believe the Roman story or not. I have my opinion. Um, but I really think the Roman capital at the time took advantage of everybody who believed in the Jewish ideologies. At the time, you have Egypt down south still believing a polytheistic way of life, really combating any idea of a single god. Now, why would these cultures go for a single god? Well, it's a lot easier to pray for one god than 10, 20, 30. That's a lot of work. So it's kind of like an upgrade for Instagram, got an update. So like imagine using Microsoft Excel to communicate to your friends. Religion just got a big update. You no longer have to sacrifice a lamb every day you want to talk to the war god. You no longer have to go to the ocean and pray to, what's his name? Poseidon. You no longer have to pray to Zeus on a stormy night. Only on a stormy night. You can do all of it super simply by just praying to the one God. And it's so streamlined and easy. It literally was the update of their time. Instead of having hundreds of gods, you have one. And the Romans really took this to heart. So much, in fact, that they decided to change randomly. And this is when the Romans said, you no longer get to pray the way you used to. You no longer get to pray to your water god and the thunder god. You have to pray to Jesus. Stop the whole polytheistic religion way of life. They were letting all of their captured societies keep their way of life until Jesus showed up. That the Roman Empire would take Jesus under their wing, and then it wasn't popular enough, so the Romans forced it upon all of the cultures. This is when the Catholic Church was attacking England and trying to influence their way of life. Not that it was random. There's pockets that the Roman Empire, what were they known for? Taking over land. This is when the Romans their ideologies and influences stained off onto the British, and the British did their whole colonization adventure. It really stems from this ideology that the world is mine to take advantage of. And it all started all the way back in Mesopotamia when those Jewish settlers appeared. You had polytheistic religions everywhere until the Romans took this one banner as a one god thing and applied it to every neighboring state near the Roman society. And I'm talking about all of Rome, from the beginning of Rome, starting in Italy, to it becoming the mega empire it was, touching into England, the whole shebang. I'm talking about all of that. We will get more in detail into this, but that's what a religion is. And that's where it started, and that's where we are today. And all of that is super fascinating. But I really just wanted to talk about what religion is, where it started, what it looked like before the single God narrative showed up and really changed the formatting of the whole world. If you guys enjoyed the video, please subscribe, like, and follow if that's applicable. The next video, I don't know what it's going to be about, but I really just wanted to hit what the history of religion is, what religion is, and kind of how it started. And not really started, but how the monotheistic religion that's prominent today started. I think it's important for everybody to understand my rationality in on this subject. If you guys agree, disagree, let me know in the comments. I'm sure you will. I'll see you next month, though, for another biblical review, a biblical dissection, a biblical conclusion, because that's what we're really looking for. So that's all for this first video. I really wanted to go over what a religion is, where it started, what it looked like before the monotheistic religion showed up, and I think we did a good job kind of showing you what's really going on behind the covers in a lot of these situations. A lot of political dynamics, there's a lot of war, there's relocation, immigration. It's really a story of humanity and the excuses to why these people need to be moved to a different demographic other than what actually created the earth.
Do you know what the definition is? What is that? Because Christians will try and say that you are doing something to your kids when you don't teach them Christianity. It's something brainwashing. But actually only exposing them with one culture.
Is brainwashing. Yeah, so to be truly immersed in society, you need to know what all societies exist. If you don't know what all societies exist, how are you to know if you're correct or not? What if Clan A and Clan B have two totally different ways of life, but Clan B is able to make concrete and a water system, and they're able to tell time and know when winter is coming, and they can plant food? Obviously, the Clan B in that scenario will outdo Clan A. So, we need to keep all of that in mind when we ask the question, what is a belief system? What is religion? Why do people need to pray? Why do people need a God? It's for those really complicated questions. Imagine being a primitive person living in a wooden shack that is always getting hit by the ongoing tsunamis every year. You wonder what you do wrong, and you come to realization that it's because you stole that dude's stick last week, and you just claim, bad juju on that event, and it's because of that moment you have hurt your self-esteem with the upper management of vibe, karma, and reality. That's why people made the idea of God. That's why it's an excuse. It's an excuse for what has happened. You go, oh, my chickens are no longer with me. It's because I didn't pray hard enough. That is what the king would say to his peasants after he robbed them the night prior. It's a way to distract. It's a way to keep people divided in ways you can't even imagine if you believe it.